Boy, they quieted down quicker than my students. Welcome to the 111th Cattlemen's Day here at Kansas State University in the Animal Science and Industry Department. Very proud to be here. Very happy that you're joining us today for kind of an historic day. First and foremost, I do want to thank our critical sponsors that make this day happen. U.S. Premium Beef has been a supporter and a partner of this event for many years. And without their support, we wouldn't be able to make a day like this happen. I would also like to thank the sponsors for our morning refreshments, okay, both DSM as well as just wait for lunchtime. We will have call hall ice cream available down on the floor, and we're very excited for that. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. A.J. Tarpoff, the Beef Extension Veterinarian. I am a co-chair of Cattlemen's Day, and I'd like to introduce my other co-chair, Dr. Justin Wagner.
Thank you, A.J. It's an honor to be with all of you here today. This is certainly a special day for us in the Department of Animal Science, and so we're honored that you guys chose to spend the day here with us. So we do have a few noteworthy guests in the room with us today that I want to make a few introductions, especially from our industry side. We have Matt Teagarden with KLA is here today with us. Justin Jansen is our LMIC president. We also have Dr. Dan Mosier with us from the College of Ag. And then we get on to some very special guests with us today. So we are also very honored to have Dr. Ernie Minton, the Eldon Gideon Dean of the College of Agriculture here at Kansas State University. And then our very, very special guest that we are very honored to have, Richard Linton with us here today, the 15th president of Kansas State University. It does take quite a bit to get this on Dr. Linton's very busy schedule, so we are very excited to have him here with us today. He's a friend of agriculture and has really helped us advance the department here locally, and so some of the things that he's going to share with us today. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Dr. Linton to the podium here, and he's going to share some of his thoughts about K-State and next generation and all of those things with us today. So welcome, Dr. Linton.
Thank you. And I think I'm going to switch and use this microphone. Where's my media guy? That's okay? Well, good morning, everybody. I'm not a podium guy, as you'll see. I'm a walk-around kind of a guy. But it's really great to be here. And, you know, you're honored to have me here, but I'm honored to be here. As a former dean of a College of Agriculture and Life Sciences at NC State University, these are the kinds of meetings and these are the kinds of people that I enjoyed working with every single day. Something's different, something special about people that work in agriculture and food systems. So everybody give yourselves a big round of applause for how you contribute to the state of Kansas. So, sometimes I just think you get lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time. And I think for me, with my interest in land-grant universities and my experience as being a dean of a College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, and what was needed at Kansas State University was a bump up relative to what we could do in agriculture, relative to facilities and leadership and people and faculty that can be able to help support this #1 economic engine in the state. And I can remember when I took on the job as a president, my chancellor at NC State, who's been a mentor for me for 25 years, he said, whatever you do, don't go to a university and have a big ag project. I said, okay, I won't do that. And of course I came here and that's what was needed. That was kind of what was next on the list. Today is kind of a historic day, right, with Weber Arena. I had the opportunity to go to the rodeo a week or so ago and experience that last event in that incredibly special place. And I know for many of you, you've been in that arena for so many years, and it's going to be difficult, and there's going to be some tears that are going to be shed relative to that facility coming down. However, we're building a better one. And those tears will go away in about 18 months when we have the opportunity to introduce you to a really world-class facility where we can do all sorts of events throughout the year. So I look forward to that period in time. I know probably Ernie's going to give more of an update relative to the ag project, but let me just kind kind of give a very 50,000-foot view of where we are with what we're calling the Ag Innovation Project. So this has now become the largest project that's ever been done at a land-grant university relative to agriculture facilities. So now it's anywhere between a $210 and a $225 million project that will involve at least 9, if not 10 facilities. So I think, as we know, a few are coming down because they can't be modernized. So Schellenberger and Feed Tech come down, as well as the current livestock arena. And those buildings will be replaced with something better and something more modernized. So those 3 buildings come down. 2 buildings will get renovated. Call Hall and Weber Hall will have a complete renovation of those facilities. And then a number of new facilities will be in place. So we just had a kind of a groundbreaking for the new livestock arena, which will be not too far from here. And then we also have 2 agronomy facilities that will be at the Agronomy Research Farm, and we did a groundbreaking for that several months ago. And then really the big transformational building is going to be the building that sits in between Call Hall and Weber Hall. And it's really going to be a building that focuses on agricultural innovation across the board. And it's going to be about bringing interdisciplinary teams to go after the big challenges in agriculture. Things like water resource management, things like data analytics and how we can use that in decision making, and other issues and challenges that are important to your industry. The other piece that we're trying to add on to this project is renovation of the feedlot facility that we have here on campus, and we're working very, very hard to be able to try to raise money in order to be able to make that as a part of a 10-building project. It's got to be completely overwhelming for a dean. I know that I had a project like this that I did at NC State, but I had 8 years to be able to get it done, to be able to do the planning, to be able to get the fundraising and get support from the state. And we're asking all of this to be done in 3 years. And I will tell you that Ernie Minton and his team have done an amazing job of planning and going out to be able to fundraise for this effort. Let me update you on the fundraising piece. Of the $210 million main project, which is outside of the feedlot, today we're at $183 million that we've raised. $75 million of that is coming from the state of Kansas, and the remainder of that has come philanthropically from a number of donors and from many people that represent your industry and other industries in agriculture throughout the state. We are about $27 million short, and our goal is to get that done as soon as we can, because the former ag dean that's been raising money for just agriculture in the last 2 years probably has to move to raise money in other areas. I got some other deans that aren't too happy with me at the moment, so we're going to try to do everything we can to be able to close out this project in the next year or so. We're fortunate legislatively to be able to get a $25 million one-to-one match from the governor. It was in the governor's budget, and we just got a positive vote yesterday, actually, from the Higher Education Committee to be able to move that forward. Let me talk about a couple of things that we're doing legislatively to also be able to help agriculture. So last year we had 2 big projects that were funded. One was called K-State 105. And K-State 105 is about utilizing all 105 counties and communities to be able to build local and regional economies. And of course, if agriculture is 40% of our economy in this state, we can expect opportunities to be able to grow and expand our agricultural economy all throughout the state. Another one, which is a little less directly impacted to the ag industry, we have a biomanufacturing initiative that we received last year, $5 million a year recurring forever to be able to support the number one economic need in the state, which is advanced manufacturing. About 60% of all of our jobs in the future and in the state of Kansas will be focused on advanced manufacturing. We pulled out the biomanufacturing piece, which is things like food manufacturing, which is critically important and a value add to your industry. And also biomanufacturing includes things like vaccine development, which helps build partnerships with our animal science department, with our vet school, with our BSL-3 facility and our BSL-4 facility. now that we have with USDA ARS. This year legislatively, we've got a couple of projects that I think that are important to you. One is that $25 million one-to-one match that we have to be able to help us finish out this Ag Innovation project. They only did that because they have confidence in what we're doing and they realize the importance of how that's going to change our state. The second is we have a $5 million water initiative that would be a recurring support. And we've got some pretty big challenges relative to water. If we don't have crops that we can grow at the productivity that we need, we can't support the animal industry. And this has been a challenge here for about 25 years. And no one has really worked to be able to collectively bring the entire state together to be able to come up with solutions. We've got some aquifer challenges that we feel are going to greatly diminish our capacity in the next 8 to 10 years. And so this water initiative will bring together partnerships around the state. KU is a partner. Sorry about that. But they're needed. And also Fort Hays State University is also a partner in this effort as well. The other initiative that I think is important for you guys to know about is this BSL-3 facility that the Pat Roberts Hall that was built about 10 years or so ago was supposed to be paid for by the state of Kansas. It's a $44 million finish up in paying off for that building. It was a promise that was made to K-State. And with a change in a governor and a change in legislators and big budget cuts, people seem to forget that that was a commitment that was made to K-State. And so we've been paying a bill of $2.2 million at K-State for that building and facilities for 10 years. And so it's about half paid off, but we explained that challenge to the governor. And the way in which I explained that challenge to the governor was that was a $44 million bill that we weren't expecting, that didn't enable us to keep on track relative to our facility, our leadership, and our faculty. And so we're not prepared as we need to be able to have a bold partnership with USDA ARS on the BSL-4 facility. We were able to get the governor together with the governor that had promised that many, many years ago, and a few other legislators that were around at the time. And good for the governor. She put it as her #1 goal. So what does that mean from a benefit to us? That means that for the next 10 years, as the state pays off that building, we'll have $2.2 million more that we can invest back into research innovation. Just in 2 or 3 minutes, I'll give a quick update about our next generation land grant university strategic plan, because that's what you asked me to do. And so we're proud of being the first land grant university in the nation. We're proud of our heritage, we're proud of our history, but I think we also need to recognize that if we don't change as a land grant university, there's going to be challenges in higher education. We've already seen it with a loss of 25% of our students and a loss of about $75 million per year in tuition loss to our university. So the challenge that I put out as we developed the next generation land grant university was embrace the land grant, but build a land grant as if you were building that land grant university from scratch. So from a student perspective, how are things going to change? Our goal is to go from 19,500 to 23,000 to 25,000 students. So that will place us at an all-time high, and we'll get there by 2030 with the plans that we have in place. But we're working differently. Our technology is different. Our communications is different. We're getting all around the state to be able to talk about the importance of a land-grant university and the importance of higher education. Last year alone, we raised $120 million for scholarships for in-state and out-of-state students. Makes a difference when student affordability and student debt are the biggest challenges that we have out there. Today we're at 80-20, 80 in-state, 20 out-of-state. We probably need to shift to 70 in-state, 30 out-of-state. Why? Because we don't have enough students in the state of Kansas to support our needs. And if you bring kids from out-of-state into Kansas, there's a good chance they might stay in Kansas. And that's what we're trying to do. And so with these scholarships, you'll notice that a lot of our out-of-state scholarships, if you've got really good grades, you can come to Kansas State University at in-state tuition as an out-of-state student. We utilized a model that the University of Arkansas was using, and actually called them, and they said, come on and visit. We sat down with them, and they said, here's the playbook. Take it, because we can't take any more students in. Also, from a student perspective, we're going to make this place even more attractive than what it is today. If you look at the Princeton Review, we are one of the best places in the country for a student experience. There's just no question about it. This is my 5th land grant. Yes, I have a hard time keeping a job. But it's just no question. This is the best place I've ever been relative to what we do for our students. I think we put our students first, and that's a great compliment to historically what we've done here. But we can still be better. And the way in which we want to be better is, and the number one thing that trickled up in our strategic plan was providing an applied learning experience for every single student. So if you ask industry what we don't do, we don't provide our students with enough in skill sets like negotiation skills, financial literacy, communication skills, presentation skills. And so as a part of our plan by 2030, every student will be engaged in some form or fashion in being better in those skill sets. The other thing that we're learning is having these outside experiences like an undergraduate research experience, an international experience, an internship experience that we have with industry are things that many of our students have, but we'd like to have 100% of our students have that kind of an experience and a different skill set. Then we can brand our students in a very, very different way. On the research side, we're planning on enhancing our competitive research by 50%, from going from 200 million to 300 million. And why does that matter? The more research we do, the more solutions that we provide to your industry and other industries in the state. But also the higher the reputation our university has, which means we get better faculty, we keep the incredible faculty that we have, and we attract really high caliber students. But what's going to be different about our research is we're going to be thinking about Kansas first. What does Kansas need first? Then we'll have a national and an international presence. From an outreach and engagement standpoint, or extension, I think we also can be thinking differently and be different. Historically, extension is about agriculture systems, food systems, community vitality, nutrition, and 4-H and youth development. And all of those things are critically important. But if you look at historically what a land-grant university is supposed to be doing, it's supposed to be meeting the needs of communities in the issues that they have today. And so we've gone around the state. In fact, in March, I will have been in all 105 counties and communities, listening 95% of the time, opening up my mouth 5% of the time, and trying to understand what's important to communities in Kansas. And today, what's important to them is all those things I just talked about, in addition to water, and in addition, things like daycare, childcare, elderly care, housing, and rural health care. So I think you'll see Extension changing and broadening its partnerships and broadening the kinds of things that it can do to gain support for our communities and hopefully gaining support for the things that we do legislatively. If you look at what we've done over the last 2 years with K-State 105 and the Biomanufacturing Initiative and the Water Initiative and the support that we have for agriculture, it's all based on what we've learned from Kansans. And that resonates well as who we are as a land-grant institution, but it also resonates really well with what legislators want to do to be able to support K-State. So with that, that's all I got. Well, I've got one more thing. This needs to be renovated, okay? This classroom is a daggone embarrassment. And these seats, I'm not sure if that's dirt from people's behinds or if that's rust. This will be a part of the agriculture initiative that we're gonna change, and you might have to edit that on the video that you put out there. So with that, I'll say, go Cats.
If there are any other questions, we'll be able to answer a handful here with Dr. Linton.
Does anybody out there have a question? Would you like me to ask you questions? Really? Okay. What's most important to you for K-State to deliver? I'm asking stakeholders. Sorry?
Qualified employees.
Qualified employees, so the workforce, right? And with that applied learning that I talked about, we want you to have a workforce that's ready. A workforce that's ready with all of the skills that are needed for the particular job that you're hiring them for, but outside of that as well. And we realize that we're falling short with the number, and we're also falling short in some cases with those extra abilities that we can provide.
Being an educator, one of the things we focus on getting workforce out there too. One of the things with ag teachers, I've got two children that didn't go be ag teachers. Their internships, paid internships, without money. Ag teachers go out on their own dime to schools and do their student teaching and financially decide any scholarship they might get through the ag education department at K-State. There's no money there, and it's a hard sell, push to get to something that, you know, you gotta have a calling for yourself, but, you know, you put an extra financial burden on some of those kids going out there. Is there a possibility of finding money there?
So it's a great question. I'll answer that in two ways. First of all, our number one initiative from a philanthropic standpoint is student scholarships. So I will tell you that today, 81% of our students receive some form of financial aid, whether it's philanthropically, from the state, from the university, or a combination. That number is 20 percentage points higher than any other place I've been. That's the good news. The bad news is it's not enough. And it's specifically not enough to compete with other institutions in the state. I'll give you a great example. We just evaluated the scholarship level at KU versus Kansas State because KU just has about the same amount of engineering students that we do. As a land-grant university, I find that unacceptable. And so one of the reasons is their students on average are getting $2,800 more per year in scholarships. And so what we're doing is we are putting together a packet that we will take forward to the Kansas State Foundation and talk about what we think we need in scholarships long-term, not only to be competitive in-state, but to be competitive out-of-state as well. The second part, to answer your question, relative to providing support for things like internships, we're seeking $30 million in support for applied learning, and as a part of that support in applied learning, with all those skill sets that I talked about, and the international experience and the internships, is to be able to support our students financially. It's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. Anybody else? Where's a student? I'm gonna pick on you, if that's okay. What's your name and where are you from?
Emily, I'm from Overland Park, Kansas.
Okay, Emily, Overland Park. What do you need more of from K-State?
I think some more of my experience with you guys.
Okay. It's tough to be put on the spot. Happens to me every day. Except it's someone from the media that I'm on television that's doing it to me. So this is resonating with you, some kind of an applied learning experience that maybe makes you a little bit more marketable when you're looking for a job. Yes, sir. Oh, here's another student.
Anything you can do to get more international experience to the students.
Yeah.
I work primarily overseas, and that's very important. Just a well-rounded individual.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that international experience, I had it when I was in college. It's life-changing. My daughter just got back from, we have a campus in Orvieto, Italy. And in a very weak moment last year, she talked me into going there for a month. She took food and wine what kind of a class is that, am I thinking? And she also took a psychology class. But I will tell you, when she came back, her confidence and independence was over the top because she was thrown out there. She didn't know anybody. She didn't know the language. She didn't know how to eat the food. She didn't know anyone from K-State. And I would agree, more and more of our students need an international experience. But for these kinds of experiences, we're going to need your help. We're going to need your help in some cases in opening up the doors for internships and opening up ideas like you're talking about, places to go to be able to get a really good experience. Well, then they could do that too. Yeah, yeah. All right, one more yes, sir.
But you can't draw your talented students back to rural Kansas and rural America.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a real decline in our rural systems in Kansas.
Yeah, I will tell you, and I'm just getting ready to go to Liberal next week. And I think one of the things we are learning is that there's a fear that kids from rural parts of the state are going to come to Manhattan and they're never going to go back, or they're going to go to Kansas City. And I think that's something we don't have a solution for yet, but we've got to work on solutions. And I think one of the things we've talked about is getting our students to be able to go out to rural parts of the state, to be able to learn. There's so many things that are attractive about living not in a big city that I don't think these kids are aware of. But it's a big issue and challenge, one we haven't solved, but we got to work on it big time. All right, folks, you got much more important people behind me to speak. You guys have a great weekend. Thank you.